Hello, Starshine. My name is Liz and this is my channel, Simsational Stories. If you have not seen my videos before and you enjoy this one, please like and subscribe. And maybe check out my other social media as well. I'm on both Facebook and Twitter. All relevant links are in the description below. And of course, if you're a Sims player and you'd like to download any of my characters, just search the hashtag Simsational Stories on the Sims 4 gallery. All original content is created by This Is Not Eric. Finally, before I begin my Simsational story, I'd like to issue this blanket content and trigger warning. The following story is just Sims, hey. I'm not going to apologise for treating them terribly, if that's what I've done. But I do want to assure you now that although I mean absolutely no harm, I completely understand if you feel unable to consume my content. Many loves, and we will catch each other on the internet elsewhere. Okay, so now we've gotten that over with. Let's go. Today's story is from the Fundamentalist Ferguson family, and we're at chapter 9. If you have not seen previous chapters and would like to catch up, there are playlists available on my channel so you can hear the entire story in chronological order. The rest of us are going to move on from where we left off last time though, so without further ado. The Ferguson family, consisting of Father Cameron, wife and mother Addison, 13-year-old twins Esther and Elijah, 5-year-old Edward, 1-year-old Edith, and one yet-to-be-born little miracle baby still stuck inside Addison's tummy, for now, are a conservative fundamentalist Sim family living in suburban Willow Creek. Each Sunday, the Fergusons participate in an official holiday which consists of a community service ceremony, remembrance of the dead, having a consciously thankful spirit, the setting of resolutions for the week, and a grand meal they share together as a family. On top of all that, they also conclude each Sunday evening with their own private family ceremony. Cameron preaches, and then they would all in turn confess their sins of the week to him, which he would, of course, kindly absolve them of. As is common in their church, Cameron had recently arranged the future marriage of both their eldest children, twins Elijah and Esther. His friend and co-worker, Samuel Longley, had recently lost his young wife Cecilia and was left raising their infant daughter Priscilla alone. The poor man wasn't quite ready to remarry just yet, but of course neither was Esther, nor were Elijah and Priscilla for that matter either. Samuel's daughter Priscilla was just a little older than Edith, and she had been with her mother during the poor woman's last moments on this earth. Samuel worried what impact the trauma would have on his child, but he trusted in their faith to help them find a way. They were merely being tested right now, and must struggle through the hardships to discover their blessings. Cameron admired his friend's spirit and strength during this difficult time, and had the grieving man over to his house as often as decorum allowed, which wasn't quite as often as he would have liked. With Samuel's dearly departed still so fresh in everyone's minds, the subsequent betrothal announcements had come as a slight shock to the small community of Willow Creek, especially given how few members of their church resided there. And as a result, they were now exercising some due caution in their socialising. It was only proper that Samuel come to get to know Esther though, as long as they were supervised appropriately, which of course they were. Cameron resented any implications that it would be otherwise. People were being ridiculous. It really was no different to any other courting couple, and many men of their faith chose to do this, arrange early marriages with slightly older men for their more rebellious daughters. It was for their own good. Cameron truly believed that he was doing the right thing, as did his wife Addison. Yes, there was an age difference involved, but that was on purpose. Esther had always needed a firm hand, the kind of guiding influence a boy of her own age may not yet have been able to provide. Samuel knew and understood all this. He was only 7 years the girl's senior. Those years would melt away into nothing as they grew older together, and obviously nothing would actually happen until Esther was old enough. Addison had hoped not to say goodbye to their eldest girl so early, but she also couldn't deny the sense of anticipated relief she could already feel from having Esther settled. It would be different with Edith, she thought to herself. Addison knew that as parents, they weren't supposed to have favourites, but Esther had always been so difficult. Elijah so quiet, and of course Edward belonged wholeheartedly to his father. Edith was hers though, her little angel baby girl. In comparison, Addison and Esther's relationship had always been tumultuous, even when she was very small. The brilliant mother-daughter connection Addison had always dreamed of as a little girl herself was completely missing. And instead, she had this changeling child who preferred her silly science and mathematics homework to learning all the necessary homemaking skills she would truly need one day. Esther had been homeschooled for many years now, though. Initially due to her own behaviour, but later due to her parents' evolving beliefs. They had originally thought to pursue a public education for all their children. After all, they paid enough in taxes for it. However, upon reflection of the impact of social diversity on the twins early on, Cameron and Addison had decided to homeschool their daughters at least. The boys would be going to college and needed normal high school diplomas, but the girls would just be getting married and so could easily be educated at home. Esther was still taught everything that she needed to know, of course. She had regular lessons in reading, writing, arithmetic, etc. However, Addison also ensured that her daughter was taught the other, far more necessary, skills that would truly prepare her for her individual future, such as childcare, basic cookery, household management, garden skills, and animal care. Despite Esther's natural inclinations, Addison was determined to produce a proper lady. Addison certainly produced beautiful ladies, as evidenced by the birth of her and Cameron's 5th child and 3rd daughter, Eleanor, who shared the same bright blue eyes and blonde hair as her older sisters. Now being a mother of 5, Addison hoped she could be forgiven the sin of pride in her family and self, for it was hard to escape the swelling joy in her heart as she looked around at her life. Cameron was also filled with almost sinful pride in his wife and the wonderful family he had created with her. She was a joy to be treasured, his Addison, and with his latest promotion at work, Cameron felt confident in their being able to afford a slight celebration. To her shame, Addison was caught unprepared, still in her nightgown, when Cameron ambushed her to ask her to dinner. It wasn't often that they managed a night out on the town. Cameron may have been becoming rather successful at work, and Addison a rather economical housekeeper, but they had both been raised to believe that a modest life was a more devout one, and as such, they rarely let themselves indulge. It was hard to resist celebrating having had 5 healthy children, though. Other Sims would sometimes exclaim in disbelief when Cameron spoke so happily of his burgeoning family. They couldn't seem to imagine how he and his wife managed it, let alone thrived throughout. Yet, for the Ferguson family, each baby was a bountiful, beautiful blessing sent down from the heavens, and they hoped to have as many as they were able to. Despite the fact that the work of childcare and household upkeep fell so much more upon her shoulders than her husband's, Addison's attitude was no different to Cameron's when it came to the subject of procreation, and she was glad to be able-bodied enough to do her divine womanly duty once, let alone multiple times. She wondered, how many could she have, actually? And that brings us to the end of Chapter 9 of the Fundamentalist Ferguson family. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe so you can tune in soon to hear the next chapter. And hey, maybe think about sharing my channel with a friend. Or don't. It's your life. Anyway, bye!